Alright, so what I've got here is the 86 CJ7 with the 4.2 liter, and as you'll notice I've got a Weber carburetor. So we're doing the Nutter bypass, and there's a lot of literature already out on the internet how to do it, but I figure I'd do a step-by-step video instruction. If you're like me, you always like videos even better than reading through text and pictures. So first step is to locate the wires and the ignition control module. You'll need to remove the coolant overflow and find the ignition control module there. There's 3 bolts here. You need to take out that one, that one. Okay, so on the distributor side, you got to locate the twisted wire. So coming right out of this distributor, got the connector. After the connector, you'll see the twisted pair of called violet and orange. Got to follow that up in the harness and undo this bit of harness right here where it goes into the firewall, and find the twisted pair of wires right here. So in effect what we're going to do is we're going to cut the wires here, right, a few inches before it goes into the firewall, and run new wires across the loom and into the ignition module. With the coolant overflow bottle removed, you can see the ignition control module. It's got 2 connectors. The connector with the 4 wires there, it's actually 3 wires going in and 4 wires on the other side, is the one you're interested in. Removing the 3 bolts that hold the ignition control module in place makes it a lot easier. You of course have to remove the bolts from the inside of the fender. So now that you've removed the ICM, time to find the violet and orange, purple and orange wires. If it's anything like mine, it's all dirty. You can't tell really the colors. Well, you can see the green one there, but not much. And a neat trick to find which ones to cut and splice is turn it over, and right here on the inside they're pretty clean. So just trace those out, and you'll see that these, hold on, that's the orange, and that's the purple or violet. Sorry, difficult to look at the camera and grab the wires at the same time. So these 2 are the ones that I'm going to splice into. Okay, so now here's the other side of the wiring loom by the firewall, and you've got a decision to make. You either use the existing orange wire that goes from the firewall to the ICM, or you use a new one. Now, since you're going to have to twist the wires all the way through, it might just be easier to use 2 brand new wires. That's up to you. So when I went to the store, they didn't have the orange and violet type wires, so I'm using a red with a black stripe that I took from somewhere else, and a white wire. I cut my wires to be about I don't know, 6.5, 7 feet long. I twisted them all up, and now it's probably 6 feet long or so after the twist. So now it's just a matter of cutting and splicing in, right? Right, so first half of the splice is complete. Not the neatest job. Some people will go crazy over not having it heat shrunk and everything else. But you can see here's where I cut the wires and I spliced into them. Alright, so I routed the new wire inside the loom. I left a bit open there, you can see, and up to the connector, and I've got about a foot, maybe 18 inches left. So this orange wire will connect to my white one, and I can either cut it here and splice it, or do it after the connector. On the ICM side, the purple wire, that right there, which doesn't look very purple, but that's the purple wire, has no outlet. It's not connected, so I have to do it on the ICM side of the connector. And by the way, running the cable inside the harness, the loom, it's a pain in the butt, but it looks neater. Okay, so now I have the white wire spliced into the orange. The purple, or in this case kind of pinkish wire, will have to get spliced in after the connector into the purple wire here. Okay, so I'll do that and show you what it looks like in the end. So a quick note before doing this: you of course realize that once you splice into the ICM end of the connector, you will no longer be able to disconnect these two. So make sure your harness routing is in its final place before you do that final splice. So here you have the completed version. The purple / pink wire violet is spliced on the outside of the connector. The other one is done. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up, put some more electrical tape around it, and you are done with regards to the electrical portion of it. Then we'll get into the timing. By the way, now you have an extra orange wire, in my case, going through the harness. You can choose to either leave it here and properly cap the end, or just cut it by the firewall and remove it all together. I think I'm going to go that way. Okay, so the wiring is cleaned up a little bit. Never mind these two wires, that's a different project. It's a different project I'm working on. So now it's time to see if it starts, and then we'll have to time it to 8 degrees before top dead center. Okay, so now you need to check if it runs after the wiring, and sure enough, it started and it's running. But it's running crappy because it's still running at the 6 degrees, I think it's before or after top dead center that it's set up. So the timing is off. We need to work on that. Okay, but we got the nutter bypass is mostly done. Alright, so having completed the electrical portion, now we move on to the timing. This is my second attempt at filming the timing marks. It starts at 2 degrees after top dead center, and then 2, 0, 2 before, 4, 6, and 8. And we're aiming for the 8 degrees before top dead center. I don't think I'll get quite into all the details of timing, but there will be other videos, or maybe I'll make a separate video showing you the timing.